Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Wednesday. No, is it? Yes, it is Wednesday. Holy macaroni. Already? Well, then. I was asked the question the other day, Angela, how do you stay inspired? Not the question wasn't how I stay inspired. Just in general, how does one stay inspired to continually grow and change their lives? Well, well, that's an easy thing. It is. We stay inspired because we know what we are capable of. So there's never a reason sometimes to give in to feelings of despondency because we know what we can do. We know what we can do. So because we know that, you're always inspired because you're never feeling, oh man, how come I dot dot dot. No, your attitude is different. Your attitude is, you know what? What do I want to become? What would that look like to me if I became it? Well, let me see. Can I get a really clear picture? Can I get a really clear mental image? Huh. As long as my image is clear, well then it is possible. All right then. Let me spend some time and get clear. And all the while the more clear things become, the more clear things become, the sooner you experience them. Clarity, it's a good thing. So you see, staying inspired is, we think it is something to do, but you have to listen to the word inspire. Well, what is expire? Expire is the end, come to an end. Inspire is to live. See? We keep trying to make things so complex. But in actuality, they're simple things. We remain inspired when we have clarity, when we know what clarity does. When one has clarity, you know that once that image is clear, it is done. Not it will be, it is. It would not be if you had no clarity. The very fact that you can see it in your mind's eye or hear it in your mind's ear, that means it's real. And then people tend to ask me, because they do, and they say, well, I gotta play devil's advocate. What if I'm just being delusional? Ponder that for a minute. What if you're just being delusional? Do you even know what delusional means? You see, again, we throw around these words that people have put out there to make you feel a particular way about yourself. When you know that you have a desire and you want to fulfill it, and you stay faithful to that desire, meaning you know that whatever you can see clearly in your mind's eye, you'll do and you'll become. You know this. So it's the same knowing as when you go outside to plant. It is exactly the same knowing because you don't say, well, I hope it grows. No. You may factor in that all of them may not grow. You could only speculate, you know? But when you plant something, you fully expect and anticipate and plan for it to be such. That same mental attitude is required when it comes to other things. Are you delusional when you plant your garden? No. You're very precise about what you plant. You say you're planting peppers. You say you're planting corn. You say you're planting peas. You say you're planting ground cherries. You're planting many things. You have the mental attitude that, you know what? I cannot wait for this harvest to come in. Yay, I'm so excited. Whee! What am I going to do with all these? And you start to plan. Are you going to pickle things? Are you going to can things? But at no time are you sitting there saying, well, Lord willing, if it grows. That's not what you're doing at all. You have decided exactly what you want to plant. And you've seen where you're going to put it in the backyard. You've seen it. Are you going to put it in your greenhouse? You've seen it. And because you have clarity, you know now come spring, because you're going to sprout indoors, you know come spring, you're going to plant them. Where you're going to plant them and what pots you're going to use. Are you going to do a raised bed? You know what you're going to do. So it is the same attitude by which we live our lives. This is how one stays inspired day in and day out. That's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any more simple than that. But you see what we do to ourselves? We try to contradict ourselves. We are a funny bunch, us humans. We are a funny bunch. We out here in these streets talking about, yeah, I want a great life. Yeah, but if I ask you what a great life is, you don't know. You don't know what a great life is. Because you think somebody has to tell you what a great life is. No, if you know what you want in this world and you can see it clearly, it is done. You've already got the blueprint. But you see, we want it. When do we want it? Now. Every vision has its appointed hour. It will ripen. It will flower. If it be long, wait. It will not be late. It is sure. Habakkuk 2, verse 3. This is what we do. So you see today, my beautiful friends, staying inspired doesn't mean you've got to get up and continually watch something quote unquote wholesome and life affirming. It is what you know. It is what you have anchored yourself to. You can go back to that morning inspiration and find it. What are you anchored to? It is what you are rooted in, anchored in, that sustains your life. Scripture says you'd be like a tree planted by the river. Do you even understand what that means, to be a tree planted by the river? You're always nourished because you're deep in the earth, huh? And all those nutrients, that rich root system just draws unto itself all the nourishment required. That's what you're like. But how do you put that into context and apply it to your life? Well, you use the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. So those roots are vast, which means you are also vast. But what are you vastly anchored into? See, the principles. Mentalism, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. You are anchored in that because you know that when you have clarity about something in your mind's eye, when you know that you have clarity in your mind's eye, you know that all things are possible. That's what you know. All things are possible. We do not say all things are possible because we hope that it is a possibility. We know that all things are possible because of clarity. Why? Because when you see it in your mind's eye Angela, I don't even know how to visualize. I can't visualize. You do not have to force yourself to visualize. At any point, you don't have to force yourself. The very fact of knowing what you want with clarity will begin to paint a picture for you naturally. It will paint a picture for you, whether by way of feeling, the picture is painted. Because you should be able to sit down, if you love that thing so much, you sit down and when I ask you, tell me, what do you want for your life? You sit there, you say, girl, let me tell you, I see dot, dot, dot. I would get up every day and I would dot, dot, dot. Ugh, I feel so amazing when I think about dot, dot, dot. I've got all the plans made, dot, dot, dot. See that? You've painted a picture just by telling someone. So we always think that, oh, you got to be able to see it. You see in many different ways. We do not just, because seeing, when we think seeing, we think eyes. No, seeing is knowing. As above, so below. We see down here with these eyes. These eyes, I digress. We see with these eyes, right? But we still know something even though we don't see with the physical eye. We know in our heart of hearts. We just know. So when you can sit and tell someone, listen, this is why I love Scotland. Scotland has some of the best storytellers. They'll sit in that pub by the fire with a pint of Guinness and they'll tell you a story. And you'll be fully engaged in that story. Oh, yes, they can tell stories. Wow, amazing. But, that's what I mean. The very fact that you have engaged all of your senses to tell the story of what you want your life to become. It is the fact that you are anchored in the knowledge that that story is 100% real. Well, without faith, it is impossible to please God. What's it mean without faith? How can you sit here and tell me about this thing that you have for your life and you love it so much, but, God willing, if it happens, it happens. What? That's what we're going to do? No. When that thing that you are so enraptured by, and you talk about it, you be about it, you feel it like a fire in your bones, you know that it is done. You know that it is done with the same surety. I know why I planted all those okra seeds. My son loves okras. I love okras. I'm tired of buying okras. So what am I going to do? Grow the okras, then cut them up, and then do what? Freeze them. With the freezer bags? Get all the air out? Yeah, so that I can use my okras all season long. So that's how many I planted. Because one is going to give me, God only knows how many it's going to give me. I don't know, but I know it'll be an abundant harvest. So I have plans. Because I expect and anticipate. Not because I'm hoping, but because I know. So whatever that thing is that you want to become in your life, do you know it? Or are you just hoping for it? You see, that's what we do to ourselves. And sometimes we find it difficult to stay inspired because we're like the seed that was planted on rocky soil. Well, it sprouts, but because it doesn't have much soil to anchor itself to, it withers and it dies. So to remain inspired, you have to keep your vision ever before your eyes, in your mind's eye. You keep your vision, the goal. What did Paul say? Leaving everything behind, I do what now? I press forward. Yes? It, Scripture also says one is not fit for the kingdom if they put their hand on their plow, but they're looking back. Forward. You look forward to the fulfillment of your desire, of becoming what you say you want to become. That is what keeps you inspired. Remember, inspire. What is expire? When you go shopping, I hope you read those expiry dates. Tells you when that thing is supposed to allegedly go bad. So to inspire means to keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. So how do you keep it fresh? You talk about it. You feel it. You see it in your mind's eye. You hear it in your mind's ear. You feel it. That is how you keep it alive. So because I just said that to you, you should think about this. Whenever we reminisce about the bad things that happened to us, what are we doing? Keeping it alive. Why? Because we talk about it, we share it, we commiserate with others who've been through the same things as us. Oh, you see what we do? We inspire those things as well. We breathe life into them, the good, the bad, the indifferent. That is what we do because it is our nature. Always life forward, right? So, to keep yourself inspired, remember what you are anchored to. Remember that when you talk about it, you be about it, you feel it, you share it with people, you're keeping it alive. So, what do you want to keep alive in your life? That's all inspired means. What do you want to keep alive? Because what you keep alive, you have to reap. It'll bear fruit once you keep it alive. So, good, bad, or indifferent, always ask yourself, what am I keeping alive? Because that is what inspire means. Think about expire means to end. Go moldy, go bad. Ew, you don't want that. No, we don't. We want to keep it fresh, nubile, supple. We want to keep it good and alive. And we keep it alive by always having it in our mind's eye. And how do we as humans have things in our mind's eye? We talk about them all the time to anybody who will listen. I saw this meme yesterday. This woman said, in the meme, you got this dress for $7 at TJ Maxx. And you don't want to tell nobody you got no dress for $7. But somebody comes along and go, girl, I love your dress. And what's the first thing you say? Oh, I got it for $7 at TJ Maxx. Why? Because you cannot keep a good thing to yourself. You want to share it. But Angela, what if I share it and somebody gets jealous? Well, then we have to practice some discernment. Hello? But because you don't have anybody externally to share it with does not mean you don't share it. To share it psychologically with yourself means to mentally impregnate yourself. Oh, yes. You tell it to yourself and you experience the success of it in your body. Oh, Angela, you're crazy. And? And? Tell me something I don't know. You think I wait for people to come along and tell me these things? No, I know myself. But what the rest of the world thinks is crazy, you see, they only think it's crazy until it is done. And then they're the first one to say, can you teach me how to do that? I've been teaching you all along. See? To remain inspired, we breathe life into that thing that is in our mind's eye that we want to become. And we breathe life into it by feeling its presence every day. Well, here's the example. Every time you stop and you think, you talk about the person you don't like, hello? What do we call that? They're running around rent free in our minds. That's what we call it. But in actuality, what you're doing is you're breathing life into that argument over and over and over and over, and you will have to have it. Why? Because you're planting it, you have to reap the fruits of it. So if you remember that that's what you're doing on a daily basis, every time you argue and you dislike somebody and you hate them or you think they owe you, oh, whew, Angela, I stepped on my own corns today. I digress. That's what we do naturally as people. But what if you chose what was true, what was lovely, what was honest, what was of good report, and you thought on those things? Do you know why that scripture tells you to do that? Because it knows the power of life that you give something when you stop and you think of it. And when you think of it, it moves you. And when we are moved, we act. You see, that's what the scripture means. And when you read it like that, well, then you now know how to apply it. Instead, we out here in these streets arguing about whose holy book is right and whose holy book is wrong, and we killing each other over whose God is real, when in actuality, we've all just discovered that there is God. But you know how we are, we want to be right. How about you be right in your mind's eye with clarity? See that clarity? It'll bring about that life experience for you without effort. Oh, you'll still have to go do it. See, I auditioned for this book back in mid-January, and I auditioned with them quite a bit. And I forgot about it because I was like, ah, well, here you go. It's just another thing, you know. Probably didn't get it. You know me, right? Because I was like, I auditioned for it because when I read the synopsis, I said, girl, this is for you. That's all I knew, right? Set in the Caribbean. So I think the writer is Trinidadian. And I'm a Bajan. We close enough. But it was inspirational, the book, when I read the synopsis. And I said, the very first thing I heard in the back of my head was, this is for you. And I said, all right. And I auditioned. But, I got caught up with life and it was just in the back of my mind. And I was like, oh, I haven't heard anything back. Oh, well, carry on. I'll audition again, I'm sure. And I got this email yesterday and she says, hey, congratulations, we want to use you for this project. And I was like, you do? Surprise. Because I knew it. But in the back of your mind, sometimes you're like, maybe, maybe not. Why would I come up with that conclusion? Maybe, maybe not. Because I had auditioned previously without success. So I looked at the not success and thought to myself, well, that's my track record. See what we do? We base our existence on the evidence of what we've previously done. So if you've had a string of bad relationships, well, that could leave a little bit of a bitter taste. And we say, well, there aren't any good men or good women. Why? Because I've experienced it in the past. But here's the thing. Remember, because I had to remember this. We are not people of sense. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin. Right? You're not people of your senses. You're people of imagination. And when I read that synopsis, it moved me. Oh, indeed it did. Oh, it moved me when I read the synopsis. And I knew, and I just left it alone because what am I going to do? Sit there and watch it and wait for it and hope? No, I have things to do. I already planted the seed. And because I was so fully engaged in living, I didn't have time to stop and, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? This is why it is important when you want to remain inspired. Just get clarity and go about your life because there's plenty of things you need to be doing anyway. And because you're busy doing other things, We don't put a chokehold on the thing that we want to become. We just allow it to happen. So that's what happened. And I said, whew. I said, okay. So now I have to prepare the sample, you know, because everybody wants to know what it sounds like. So I got to prepare the sample and send it in, which is what I'm used to doing when I do work. And then somebody else messaged me yesterday and said, "Hey, are you still recording books? Uh, I've got a project for you." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm here. I'm ready." And I said to myself, "More of this," because that's what I love doing, right? I said, "More of this. I can turn out a book every week. Sure, I can, depending on how many chapters, but most of the times it's a week, so I can do it." And I've already seen what the month would look like, right? Clarity is required. So when we have clarity, it helps us to remain inspired, to keep going. And here's the thing, it's not a keep going as you're dragging yourself across the desert. Oasis. Oasis. That's not what that means to keep going, y'all. When the vision that you are holding on to is such clarity and passion, I told you, it feeds you. It sustains you. It is not a parasite. So it's going to keep you fed and watered so you can keep it fed and watered. It's a mutually beneficial relationship when we remain clear about what we know in our mind's eye. See, that's how you know the beauty of creation. Creation's not there to suck the life out of you. No, it's there to sustain your life so that you can carry on giving life. So this beautiful day, this beautiful Wednesday, what is it that you want to be? Do you know what that is? You cannot allow the world to come in and pour salt in your spring. You can't allow the world to do that. Keep a lid on your spring, y'all, to keep the bugs and the critters out. What's that look like psychologically? It means that you love what you are becoming. You love it. And you love it so much, no greater love than this, hello? That a man should lay down his life for his friends. You understand what that means? It doesn't mean you die for your friends physically. That's not what it means at all. No. No greater love than this. Then what? That a man should lay down his life for his friends. That which you love, you will give yourself to 100%. So this vision, this goal, this passion that you have, you give yourself, you surrender to it. Surrender? Yes. You surrender to it. How does one surrender to it? When you stop and you think of it. Remember, whatever is true and honest and of good report. Think on these things. And when you think about what you are becoming, you begin to feel a warmth. Like if you had a shot of brandy or a Barbadian rum, just a little sip of it. And you swallow, or good ginger tea. When you swallow that ginger tea, ooh, it warms you, right? You can feel it in your chest. It opens up your sinuses. What? You feel it. And it spreads throughout your body. It is exactly the same thing when you sit here and I say, tell me about the life you want to have. And you get so excited, your eyes light up. And you can't help but touch me. You grab me and say, girl, let me tell you, squeeze my arm. You say, yes. And by the time you're done telling me, I am seeing and living the story with you. See? That's what it means That no greater love than this, that a man should lay down his life for his friends. That is what that scripture means. That you love it so much. You breathe life into it every single day as you talk about it, as you bring it to the forefront of your mind. Yes, it takes everything within you just to hush and not tell anybody. See? And it's that excitement that fuels you. You're so excited to tell somebody you've already got it rehearsed what you're going to say to them. You will never guess what happened, girl. And they're like, well, don't keep me waiting, tell me. And you're like, well, you don't have to twist my rubber arm. And you just let it spill forth from you like a champagne. See? This is how one keeps themselves inspired. To inspire is to give life, right? So, you don't give it life through force. No, you give it life by feeling its presence, by being excited to become it. That is how you give it life. And because you give it that life, you begin to experience it. It unfolds for you. Opportunities you never thought. You're like, wait, but this is, how does the universe know? What do you mean how the universe knows? You're the one holding the image. You're the one who mentally impregnated yourself with the image. So obviously you have to reap what you have sown. What do you mean you're surprised? You should be surprised if you don't get it. You don't be surprised when you get it. You're the one who planted the seed. You don't walk out in the backyard after you planted all them their seeds and say, oh, my, I am so surprised. You're not surprised. You expected that to happen. So you see, my beautiful friends, this is how one remains inspired on a daily basis. You draw life from it. Did you hear what I said? You draw life from the mental image. Well, how can you draw life from it? Well, that would tell you the mental image you hold has life. That's the only reason why you could draw life from it. And as you draw life from it, it enlivens you. And what do? Turn around and breathe life into it all over again. And you see, the cycle of life keeps going, keeps you inspired on a daily basis. And with that being said, let us welcome everyone into the space this morning, because it is a glorious Wednesday. It is, you know. I don't know what the temperature is going to be today, but I know it's supposed to. Hold on, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the temperature, what it's supposed to be today. Ooh, we're -3. Lord have mercy, we're supposed to have snow on Thursday. Well, you know, you count it all joy. Because it snowed. It snowed the other day. And listen, it snowed at 6:30 in the morning. And by 11, it was gone. So that's probably what's going to happen on Thursday, okay? It'll snow and then bam, it'll be all gone. I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, who's here? Well, you know, Twitter is as Twitter does. It's tumbleweed Twitter. YouTube, nobody's made themselves known in the chat, but I see them there. YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, I see you. You just haven't said hello to me in the chat. Well, I'm saying hello. Hey. Who's with us on Fanbase this morning? We got the sweet KZ. Oh, if it isn't Flo Smiles, my darling sugar visions, you're sweet too. We got Lex. Hold on, Lex. I gotta get to know you a little bit. Okay, you just hold on. Oracle Treehouse. Hey girl. And 7. Michael, I see you. Hello, Surreal. Honey, I see you too. And you know we always end with you, but before we end, I'll get the chime. I don't know if you'll get Birdsong this morning. I kissed him already this morning when I went downstairs. And I know he purred when I kissed him. And I'm like, oh, you're mommy's baby. So I don't think he's ready to sing yet. He's just there. I kissed him, and so that's how come he knew where I was. But he might not be ready to sing yet, my little Roo. So I just let him be, and when he's ready, he'll sing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you'll get birdsong yet, but I know you'll get the chime. And oh, speaking of chime, this Saturday, the 15th, this is a free event. Um, he's a rep with the chimes that I use, Meinl. It's a German company, and they are sound. They create sound instruments, kymatics, the power of sound. So he's going to come and talk to us about the chimes and whatever other instruments and answer some questions for us. Um, because I love the product, you know. And these chimes that I have are tuned to 432 hertz. 432 does something. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. Sound does something to us, just in general. So if you hear a sound, whatever way it makes you feel, that's happening to you on a cellular level. So when you play your favorite song, you play your favorite jam, what do you think you're doing? Ah, see how your sound makes you feel? So anyway, we're having a sound workshop. Um, just to talk about the power of sound and how it works and how you can get a set of chimes if you'd like. Yeah. So that's on this Saturday, the 15th. Is that 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? I think it is. I'll let you know again, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So anyway, let me get my chime. And as you hear the chime today, remember the mental pregnancy that you are now walking with. You have an offspring in your mind's eye, and it's growing and it's becoming more and more clear, and that is what you are becoming. Because we become that which we behold, right? As within, so without. So today, make a decision. Whatever that thing is that you say you are becoming, surrender to it, because no greater love than this. That you would breathe life into your vision. Yes? Let me get the chime. I'm coming, Lex. Hold on. After I'm done playing the chime, I'll bring you out. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for each and every one of you for being here on this glorious Wednesday. Remember, your dream, your vision, your goal, it has its appointed hour. Your only job is to keep it alive. Keep it alive. Breathe life into it, and it will breathe life into you. And how do we breathe life into something? Talk about it. Feel it. Oh, yes. That is how we do it. And if you don't want to tell anybody, you don't have to tell anybody, but tell you. Rehearse in imagination what you would be doing in reality if your dream were fulfilled. Yes? Peace out, Twitter. You know I love you. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Mwah, I love you. Enjoy the beautiful day.